All right. Sahanavavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञानवादांश्च भाषसे गतासून गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. So I chanted 11, 12 and 13.
All right. So, so far we talked about all the Arjuna Vishad, how he is so consumed with sorrow. And we then saw the transition of Arjuna from giving up everything to asking for guidance. See, that is a huge step to finding a solution, to first recognize that there is a problem with me, that I am not understanding. There is, something has overcome me, He says, kahan se aa gaya? Where has it come? This kayarta, which I had never experienced before, but something has come that I cannot explain. So going through that, then he sits down. He basically is quiet. Tushnim. Tushni means to be quiet. And now Sanjay says, so after saying that, please guide me, now Bhagwan is saying these words, prasanniva, smilingly he says that. So what does he say? He says, why are you grieving? Ashochananya shochastvam. You are grieving for something that doesn't deserve to be grieved over. So now we will see this, because next 3-4 verses, they take us to the highest planes now. Bhagwan starts with atma vidya, atma vichar. He doesn't start with because he had already told him, this doesn't fit you and all that. He told that right in the beginning. But now he's saying, why are you grieving? It doesn't deserve to be grieved on, So ashochanashcha shochastvam means you are grieving for something that doesn't deserve grieving, and you are talking like you are a pandit. Pragnan vadanscha bhashase. Pragnan means knowledgeable, very knowledgeable person. Pragnan vadansh. Vadansh means speaking like a very learned man or a pandita. So this is where Bhagwan starts. See, it is important to understand that he didn't start with the body level. He starts at a atma level, but he'll explain what Bhagwan's plan is to make him understand. So he says, you talk like as if you are a wise person, pragnan vadansha, because he was knowledgeable about dharma shastra, but he was probably not knowledgeable about Vedant as much, or at least he was confused about it. So he says, people grieve about what? People grieve about things that are changing. There is a very nice verse of Guru Nanak there. He says, Chinta taki kijiye jo anhoni hoye. Nanak is sansar mein sthir vastu nahi koye. There is nothing that is not changing, right? You worry about things that are unchanging rather than things about which are changing. So if you worry about, oh, this happened to this, it was going to change. If a person is going to die, person is going to die. There is nothing we can do about it. There is a life of everything in this transitionary world. There is nothing that is permanent. He says, what are you grieving about here? He says the wise people don't grieve about what? Gatasuna gatasunshya. The one that have gone. That means the people who have died, or those who have gone, or the ones who have not yet gone. Gatasunshya. That is, they are still there, but they have not. So I don't have to grieve about either one of them. Means as a wise person, as a nanu shochanti panditaha. The panditas, the learned people don't grieve about these things. Neither for the ones who have gone means that whose body has gone, or the ones who will go. There is nobody who is there permanently. Our great grandfather died, and then the line continues, and then one day hamara number aayega. So we don't have to worry about things that are changing, because that is the nature of things. There is nothing that is unique about it. It is going to happen. Yeah, so he says, you are grieving and you are speaking of wisdom. He says, these two things don't go together. Either you grieve or you speak like a wise person. So, but you cannot do the two things together. Like, say, a spouse has gone, then the grieving will come for a short time, but you cannot go on grieving. There is always a vichar or vivek buddhi that has to be evoked or to be developed, that says, what is his reason for grieving? First reason, that I will kill my own grandfather and my teacher, right? This is his first cause of concern. He has not killed yet. Just the thought that they will be dead, that I will be the one causing their death, is his first problem. Second is, what will I do without them? I am so attached to them that this attachment is going to cause that separation anxiety for me. So that is his biggest problem. But from the Sankhya Buddhi, which is the wise people, how do they think? This is what Bhagwan is telling him. So he starts his teaching from the standpoint of atma, from the standpoint of the self that is experiencing everything, but it is unchanging. And Bhagwan is going to explain what he's talking about. He just starts that way, He says, so part one is about don't grieve. Grieving is for people who are not thinking, those who think of transitionary things as permanent, that, oh, this will never change. So now that things have changed, I start grieving. So that is what he's saying. एक वो बीटल का गाना याद आ गया. What did he say? Just trying to, when I find in times of trouble, उसमें मदर मेरी है, बट हम कहेंगे श्री कृष्णा comes to me. What is it? Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So, so Bhagwan उसको कह रहे हैं कि ये तो होना ही है, things are going to change. So why grieve about things that are going to change, और इंडिया में तो किसी को भी पंडित बुलाते हैं. So don't take because पान वाले से भी कहेंगे पंडित जी जरा पान बना you know we don't discriminate on how we talk to people, but uh, in um, in Bhagwad Gita it gives two different definitions. Actually it has given multiple definitions, but two are very prominent. One is about that the one who is samdarshinaha pandit. Let me pull that verse. It's from the 5th chapter. He says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shapa Kechaha Pandita Samadarshinaha. That who sees all these things with the Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. He's filled with Vidya, but also very humble. See, Pandit ki definitions यहाँ पे बड़ी अच्छी से दी हुई है. The one who is filled with knowledge, but extremely humble, Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Hastini, and how he sees all these things, Brahman or a cow or an elephant, Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha, even a dog or a dog eater, it's the lowest of its class, even the dog eater, Panditaha Samadarshinaha. He sees all of them with the same vision. He doesn't discriminate between higher, lower, a Brahman or a cow or an elephant or anything, even a dog, So that is the definition of Pandita. So we have to take the definition what is given by Bhagwan himself. So if he uses the word Pandita, we have to understand what Pandita mean in this particular circumstances. And Shochanti, he didn't, in the verse he says, Na Anushochanti Panditaha. Ek hota hai Shochanti. Shochanti means filled with sorrow, and then Anushochanti means that one where sorrow goes on and on. There's no end to sorrow. You keep on grieving, that is what is Anushochanti. The Pandita may have a moment where he is down a little bit, but then he has to come back because he is Samadarshinaha, and also he is full of Vivek in himself, so he bounces back. So people, talk about things that happened so long back, yeah, I just think about it, about this person and my blood boils, so people have a hard time just letting go, so then that is not Pandita. That is not a wise person's thinking. So, and we have to get out of this. So there is a verse which is Uttame Kshana Kopastyat. The Uttama people, the wise people, they take a moment to get out of sorrow. So they are in sorrow, then ek kshana mein, Uttame Kshana Kopasyat. Their sorrow is last only for a minute. Madhya mein Ghatika Dvayam. The ones who are Madhyama type Purusha, they will grieve for 2 hours. And then Kanishte Syat Ahoratre. And then there are people who are less aptitude and they will cry for the whole night, Ahoratre. And Papische Maranantakam. And people like us will grieve over things till the end of our life. So that's somebody's wise interpretation, So how quick, okay. So the point is that Anushochanti is absolutely, he says, it doesn't, you talk like a Pandit, but why are you grieving? That's his first question. So first point Bhagwan is bringing up is, why are you grieving? It is not worth grieving about, because things are going to change, So, so question is how to apply it in our life, We have to think, what are we grieving about? What is our sore points? What is it that makes us sorrowful? Either it is, oh, I didn't get this, or somebody said this to me, or I had plan A and that failed, or I had whatever else, I tried I lost my money under certain circumstances, whatever the reason may be. But things, we are only worried about that we have this expectation and it did not meet my expectation. If everything was happening to our expectation, maybe life would go on without sorrow. But this is not this is not what happens. The sorrows will come no matter what. Things are going to change. This is nature of the things. So this is what he concludes in his first stanza, So and the other point is, can we fix anything by grieving? There's nothing we can do. If we can fix something, then fix it. For fixing, we need purushartha. We need to get into action. And when we get into action, we are never sorrowful. Right? So here we are, now that Bhagwan says, now that you are my Shishya, I will not let you grieve. So now in the next word, now in the next few verses, Bhagwan talks about what is the Sat Vichar. What is the Sat Vichar means? We talked about the absolute I and the transactional I, right? In the Shankar Bhashya also, Bhagwan talks about what is the absolute I, which is not changing. And then there is a transactional I, which is constantly changing. Transactional I means the way role I am playing, or the way I think of myself in this world. I'm basically transacting in this world as a certain cog in this whole machinery, right? So either I am a husband or a son or a boss or a, servant or whatever else, whatever role I am playing is all part of the transactional I. Is that all clear? Okay. So now Bhagwan says, now he's talking about the absolute I. He says that na tve vaham jatu nasam na tvam neme janadipaha. He says, Arjuna may have asked in his, he must have observed Arjuna that, okay, he's a little confused. So he says, why should I not grieve about the death of my Bhishma and Drona? Why should I not grieve? It is natural to me. I will grieve. He says, no, natvam. He says, there was never a time that I was not there. That means there was aham jatu na asam. That means there was not a time when I was not there. He says, okay, maybe you were there all the time, but what about me? I was born on a certain day, He says, no, na tvam, neither you. You were always there. So there was not a single time when you were not there. And also, na tvam neme janadipaha. And all these people that you see, they were always there. He says, okay, I agree, they were always there, but I'm going to kill them now. So they will not be there in the future. That is my problem. You are not understanding Krishna. This is not my problem that they were there or not there. I am worried about that they will not be there. He says, no, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha. It's not like they are going to that. They are going to live forever. There is not a time that they were not there, and there will not be a time when they will not be there. Arjuna says, man, Bhagwan, you are confusing me. I am talking about Bhishma and Drona, and you bring some strange concept here. So Bhagwan is, here Bhagwan starts with the highest knowledge, ekdam atma vichar. So there was not a time when I was not there or you were not there and these people were not there. See, ye confusion ho sakta hai, he says, we were always there and in future also we will always be there. Na cha eva bhavishyamah. There will never be a time when they are not there, right? Sarve vayamataha param. So if you are grieving about that they will not be there, so let me tell you, they will all be there. Maybe not in this body, but they will always be there. There is not a time when they will not be present. So it's okay. This is he says, okay, I understand that part. Janadipaha also, you are saying future is also there, but maybe not in this body, they will not be there in this particular shape and form, So he says, you may continue. Now he says, okay, this is very important part of it. So all these, he says, what you are looking at is only the transactional I. And in the next verse, he explains it even in more details. So he says, what you are seeing here, what you are seeing here is that they are never the same anyway. They have been constantly changing and one day they are going to die anyways. So, but here, one point that I thought I'll bring it up, that the words used are plural. They, because normally when we talk in Vedanta, he says Atma is only one, right? There is only one Atma, but here he is using as if it is plural. That means they are all different. Here again, Shankaracharya explains all these things, but I thought we will cover the next verse and then we will try to understand that in a different way. The absolute truth is always one. That is how the Vedanta, and Bhagwan will explain this in next few verses. When a body is born, what is body? Body is nothing but a result of prarabdha. That's how we understand it. It's a result of our karma that we get a body. And when the karmas are exhausted for that body, it just goes away and then a new body comes in. But the one that is experiencing that body is unchanging, which is beyond karma, because that has no impact of karma. It doesn't have any impact of karma. So I think these ideas will sink in as we go further. But right now, understand there is an absolute I and there is a transactional I. Just these two words we remember. So what is Arjuna grieving about? He's grieving about the transactional I. And Bhagwan is explaining to him the absolute I. So his problem is with transactional I, or the names and forms. And Bhagwan is saying, you worry about the one that is living through these bodies, the enlivener of these bodies. So that now he explains in the next verse. So what is the nature he's talking about here? How do we say that Atma is eternal? You have said, okay, wo to pehle bhi the, and they will always be there in the future. How do you say that? So he says, okay. So one example that I wanted to bring in, like we see an ocean, right? Ocean has waves. So think of waves as the nama rupa that comes and it goes, right? There is nothing that stays, right? The ocean will have a wave, that wave will come, wave will go. It never, there is never a point where a wave can be permanent. Even the ocean will never be permanent. So what is the truth of the two things? The truth of the two things is that it rises in ocean and it dies in ocean. But ocean and wave both are made of water only. So the water is the truth. So there was not a time when the water was not there, and there will never be a time when water will not be there. You understand this example now? The wave will come and go. Wave is nothing but water, right? The water has become wave and it has gone. Gone to where? Water. Same way, several, waves will come. The Ramesh wave and the Suresh wave and the Ramesh wave, all these waves will come and all these waves will go. But the waves which is made up of water only, the water will always was there and will always be there. The Nam Roop is only thing that is going to change. So he says, you are worried about Nama Roop. I am telling you the one that is enlivener of that. So let's look at the next one. I think we have time for one more. So he says, Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Okay. Tatha dehantara prapti dhira tatra na muhyate. Okay. Wise don't get deluded. About what? That things are changing. So now what is changing here? He says there are two things. Now he uses the word deha and dehi. He didn't use the word atma here. Deha and dehi. Dehi is the enlivener of the deha. So if you have a deha and you say, this dehi, the reason he's saying dehi separately is because he wants to differentiate between the body and the enlivener of the body, which is dehi. And I'll tell you why he didn't use the word atma also. He could have used atma, but he didn't use atma. Deha and dehi. Let's understand this. Dehi is, the deha is everything that is going through changes. He says, Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara. Kaumaram means as a young, from toddler to say teenager. And then this deha is going through a change. First, it was not there, right? First, it was not there. Then it was born. A little, 18-inch, 19-inch, 20-inch baby. And then it starts to grow. It becomes a Kaumaram. Matlab Kumar jaise in Hindi we say Kumar, or a young person. And then this young person becomes adult. That adult after some time becomes an old man. So this body is going to go through these changes. Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara. He is, in full, at one time he is on top of the world, and then Jara means the old age will take over. So, but there is somebody who says that I was that little kid. When I was that young man, or when I was, the manager in the company, or when I became the president of the company, or when I got married, that I doesn't recognize the changes. It says, I was that same kid. Even you'll show the picture of this little kid. You know who this person is? It's me. This is me. It doesn't look like me anymore, but this is me, because I have now, because the one who is seeing the changes is different from the changes. You understand? So the one who is seeing all these changes, the one who says, when I was learning how to ride a bike, it was I. The one who then became expert motorcycle driver, or ones who learned how to drive a car, or one who got married, the one who had little kids, it was all me who went through all these stages, Kaumaram, Yovanam, Jara. So all these changes are of the Deha. The who is saying that this is I? Who owns this Deha? I own this Deha. This is I is Dehi. The one who owns that Deha. The one who is the one experiencing the changes in that Deha. Deha means body. So the one who is experiencing the changes in Deha is Dehi, not Dahi. Dehi. the Deha ka Malik, Dehi, so that's what. So he says, you are grieving over the changes thing, but the Deha is going to go through change anyway. It goes through the Kumaram, Yavanam, Jara, all these changes will come. And Tatha Dehantarah Prati, even after death, they will get another body. As we know that the changes are happening, the changeless Dehi is experiencing the changes, or the other people can see the changes in that person. I'm seeing, okay, I don't have any gray hair. Then next day I see, oh, I have some gray hair, or I have lost my hair, or something like that. So I am seeing all the changes. The changes belong to Deha. So same way, after the death also of this body, the Dehi will continue. Dehi is not going to change. It is going to live forever. It was there before the body was there, and it will be there after the body was there. So there was one point that I wanted to bring up, that why he did not use atma. See, problem is, when we use the word atma, we always tend to think there is something called atma in us, just like we have heart and we have, pancreas, we have liver and we have other things. Same way, we have something called atma that comes and goes. Bhagwan says, no. There is nothing like that. It is not something that is tangible, that can be touched, that can be experienced, because it is the experiencer of all the things. So that Dehi is that I. It's nothing but, it is not something that is from, that is another part of my body. So that is one problem that we have to make sure we never confuse about. That's why Bhagwan uses the word Dehi. Dehi means I. Dehi means the one who is living through this body. So this Dehi doesn't experience any change. Dehi is not changing at all. Because to experience a change, something has to be stationary. See, suppose if there are two cars going, theory of relativity. If both cars are going at the same speed, we don't think we are moving. But if we are standing on a platform and see things go by, then we say, okay, I am here and things are changing. This is how we experience the world, right? So just like I, told about the story of balloon for a kid, so the balloon is, for a kid is so treasurable, So once he buys the balloon, father says, okay, here, enjoy this balloon. And the balloon flies off. What does father say? Father says, Nanu shochanti panditaha. Wise people don't grieve about it, because he doesn't grieve about it, because he understands the nature of the balloon. Balloon was to fly, it was going to go away. But he also is, now he's, as a considerate parent, he pacifies the child, or aa jayega, or whatever, we say through that. But basically we try to develop viveka. Vivek means that intellect which can discriminate between real and not real. See, we get attached to unreal. So this will also come in. There are few examples that Shankaracharya gives. Just even Tulsidas ji has given one about that when you are going on a boat and in the night, and you see far away, you see you are stationary, but all the city is moving back, So that is how our viveka is. Because 99% of the time we are very dhira. It doesn't matter to us, It says, oh, Syria, people are dying left and right. Oh, that's so sad. But, khana kya bana hai? But if we say, somebody tells us, there was a scratch on your car in the parking lot, we get so annoyed, because 99% of the time we are dhira, but 1% of the time is when we have to develop that viveka, that we have to develop that that things are going to change. But anyway, so nature of deha is transactionary. It is just nama rupa only. It's a name and form. That's it. So before the deha, we call it the prior non-existence of deha. So this is existence of deha. Before birth, it is prior non-existence of deha. And then after death, it is post non-existence of deha. Only short time this deha is experienced. The one who is experiencing is this deha is that which is eternal. And how it is, we will go through that, According to Charvak, there is
Raj, sorry, interruption. You said if he is experiencing, it will become bhokta, so it won't become absolute.
Good point. Anybody wants to answer that? See, the one who is, maybe a choice of wrong words here, but he is the one who is drashta of these changes. Let's put it that way.
Good. Okay.
Would that make it better?
Yeah, witnessing. So not
witnessing. Okay. He is the witness of the change.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Sure.
Because Rajiv, I also have a couple of questions. Do you want to take them now?
Okay.
So one thing is that Arjun's grief or shock was slightly different in the sense that is one thing when things change in life, right? Whatever changes and losses, etc., that we may cause or may not cause. But Arjun's Vishad was in particular or exacerbated or made worse by the fact that he's कि मैं खुद क्यों ऐसा करूं, मतलब कि to kill and then, suffer. It's like a two-stage thing where he's saying ki if I don't fight, then I don't have to produce shoka. Anyway, so that's one thing. Because in our case,
That
of
is an
course,
escapist philosophy. Yeah.
right? But anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is ki in terms of these upadhis, the roles you mentioned, transactional identity,
Mhm.
it's true that the Atma or the Brahma, the Chaitanya Shakti, the primordial illuminates or sabhi ko prakashit karti hai. That's true. But at the same time, we have a personal continuum of experience, meaning ki I don't have your experience, right? I have my experience. And so while the nature is absolute across all of us have the same nature, right? But nevertheless, there is this personal experience. We can call it as modified by Sukshma Sharir and Sthul Sharir. We've covered all those things. So I think in the past, you may have said this, or maybe I'm remembering this incorrectly. I think in the past, when we ask you what goes from one lifetime to another, what causes karma to go from one lifetime to another, it's possible. I remember thinking ki Sukshma Sharir goes from one lifetime to another, meaning
Mhm.
in the next lifetime, you have some tendencies that are carried, sanskaras and all that, right? So in one sense, there is something that persists, like the Sukshma Sharir or whatever. Like there's a personal continuum, right? While, and I'm slightly confused by this personal versus the absolute. On the one hand, there is absolute. There's no doubt about that, right? And you also use the word plural early on, right? The one and many,
Mhm.
because each of these dehis have their own personal experience,
Yes.
right? And
Okay.
then, yeah. So anyway, I have another one, but I'll wait for you to respond to this. Yeah.
All right. So just like Deha, mind is also Deha. It is also Sharir. It's all
Mhm.
only Sukshma Sharir, but it is also the Sharir, right?
Yes.
It
Yes.
is also going through the changes.
Yes.
It is not, mind is nothing but it is consciousness reflecting through a certain medium. Think of
Mhm.
it that way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Sure. Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the point is that this medium is what we are focused on at this time. The medium is going to dissolve eventually. It is not like it is going to die, but once you recognize I am the Atma, then the mind doesn't actually mean anything after that. The mind may be used like a deha, it may be used, but it doesn't have any importance in our life. Let me explain it differently. Here we said the body is going through series of changes. It was not there before, then a little baby was born, then it is Komaram, it's a Kumar, then it was a young adult, then it was an adult, then it is an old man, and then it dies, right? So Dehantara Prapti. So the body is going through change, so does the mind. So you have vrittis that are constantly changing,
Mhm.
right? There is, your vrittis are not the same as a kid vritti, right? You don't run to play video games, or you are not running after whatever else, but we seem to have different vrittis at different times in different situations, right? So those are also changing. So whatever is changing is being observed by a changeless entity. If vrittis are the ones that are seeing all that, then somebody must be seeing these vrittis also change, because vrittis are tangible. Vrittis can be experienced. Is that not true?
Yeah, but I think I have a further. I thought through that, but I have further clarification regarding. See, memory or smriti is like you could say it's like a vritti, right? In the chitta or something, childhood memory.
Vritti is any thought.
Yeah,
Any thought that
tendency,
comes to
any
me is
tendency of
vritti.
mind, sure.
Yeah,
But nevertheless, memory is one of those things, right? So,
memory is one of them.
right. So one could say that in order to say that I was a child and I was the same person, etc., you're comparing two things. Basically, what I'm saying is, since Atma, the true nature, cannot have any vrittis, meaning is unmodifiable, is
Yes.
unborn and all that. Therefore, how can Atma experience that? Maybe this is what Sunilaji was saying before, meaning even the experience of the continuity could be at the relative level. Na? Matlab, it's through the Sukshma Sharir, through mind, which is comparing prior experience to now and so on.
Okay.
Right?
You have gone a step further than I was going to go, but let's bring that point. So they are both there. The body level, which is physical, and which is subtle, which is the mind, intellect, memory, whatever we want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Sukshma Sharir, it is still a Sharir, right?
Sure.
So what is happening? Now let's try to understand. It is not a feeling that we are talking about. It is the Atma is not the one who is, what is the Chaitanyata, the one which is really life itself, right? The life itself is the consciousness. Let's use the word consciousness for now, right? The consciousness gives the ability for the mind to work, the body to work, right?
Yeah.
So it is not the one which get involved in it. The reason I usually think of the Sukshma Sharir as I is because of avidya, or not knowing my own true nature as consciousness. So I am not considering myself as consciousness. I am considering myself as Sukshma Sharir, as bridge whose body is there, but he is also seeing all the changes of bridge body, right? I'm seeing the bridge body, the mind is seeing the bridge body, going through the childhood, adulthood, old age, all that is being seen at a mind level, but the mind changes are also seen at the conscious level.
Yeah.
Chaitanyata is seen, mind doesn't have Chaitanyata of its own. It is borrowing the consciousness, the Chaitanyata from consciousness.
Right.
That is because it
That's
is made
sure.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go because all these are going to come in the future.
Right. But you see the confusion, I'll tell
Chapters.
you, you taught us the Kena Upanishad, you
Mhm.
mentioned what is that which allows us to what you just said, The only confusion in my mind is that original Chaitanya Shakti is one and universal, meaning it's the
Yes,
same for all of us.
same. There is no
Right.
twos in there.
Right. Nevertheless, our experience is personal, meaning there is some way in which I don't have your experience, right? None of us
Okay.
have each other's experience. So there is something that separates, right?
Let me explain that. So you are saying the bridge experiences are different than Raj's experience or Shekharji's experience or Amritji's experience. So they are all different. They are different Jivatmas, basically, right?
Yeah,
Who are going
the
through
nature
this.
is the same, but the actual experience is different. Yeah.
Understood, right? So they are going through. Now let's assume that they are different. Let's take, for example, what Bridge is saying is that Rajiv is different from Bridge. Bridge's Atma is different than Raj's Atma or Shekharji's Atma. So let's say we are several Atmas, That means I am aware of an Atma which is Bridge's Atma. So now the Bridge Atma has become an object of my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Now Bridge Atma has become object of my knowledge. So we have objectified that Atma.
Yes.
So Bridge has objectified Rajiv's Atma.
Right.
This is what is called a gyaan. That we are not seeing the oneness between. This is almost like in that ocean, wave A has come, gone, wave B has come, gone, wave C has come, gone. Now this C wave has become something else, right? As we go deeper into Vedanta, this concept will get absolutely clear, because the one who you are saying that the bridges experiences are being carried, right? Over and over.
No, only this. See, I accept that there is one universal, consciousness as that differentiates through individual shareers, soul and soul. That I of course accept. And in fact, it doesn't make sense to there be more than one universal consciousness. It's just that in the way it differentiates, and because see the ocean, to use your ocean and wave analogy, the ocean is knowledge of everything, right? Ocean knowledge
Yeah.
of everything, it of all, but I don't have knowledge of
But
everything. I
why do
only
you
have
need
knowledge of
knowledge
the.
of, yeah, why do you need knowledge of anything? Do you remember what bridge was in the past life?
No.
Does it matter to you? If it did matter to you, it will be a very troublesome thing, because it should not matter. See, this, it is almost like watching a movie, right? A movie starts, movie ends. We are not the one. We are actually the projector. So several movies can come and go in this. It is a multiplex, what is it called? Multiplex theater.
Right,
So
right.
many movies are going at the same time. But the projector is only one. So projector it is just for the vacha rambhanam. It is only for sake of enjoyment that you see all these things. But really they don't exist. Neither bridge exists, nor Raj exists, nor Rajiv exists, nor Shekhar exists. These are only kya tha, vacha rambhanam vicharo nama deham, or that this is only for sake of argument that we talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have any bearing to truth. We have created this whole thing about, oh, bridge is so important. He was actually a elephant in past life, then he became a princess, and then he's become a bridge, and in next life he'll become a king of he'll become Trump or something.
Yeah. Now, so listen, I'll
Point
reflect.
is,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
here we have to understand, all these changes are only for sake of argument. They have zero reality, but we have given it so much reality that we cry about it, we laugh about it, we do all these things. We don't see the real I, which is the Sat Chit Ananda Swarup, which is the true bliss. Bliss has no thoughts. Bliss is pure bliss, there's nothing in it. What we are stuck with, this bridgeness, we have to drop that bridgeness and Rajivness. Whatever it was before, whatever it will be in the future, whatever it is now is immaterial. Only Dehi is important, which is actually enjoying the game that is happening in front of it. And it is the cause of that also. Actually, it will say, I am not even the cause of it. Bhagwan here is saying, focus on that which is unchanging, rather than focusing on what is changing, because changing is the nature of these things.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can say or control to stop that.
Right. I think the experience of the ocean-like nature must be a different qualitative, like Satchitanand. But I'll leave one question, and then I'm sure other people have something to ask also. This Jad aspect, they and even Sharir Man can also be considered as Jad, right? The Manas and all. Since there's only one Brahma, only one primordial consciousness, even the they and all the Sharirs, they're also an expression of Brahma. No? But there's nothing that's not Brahma. Then why do we distinguish between them?
We don't. We are distinguishing because it is one wave talking to the other wave that I am taller than you and I am shorter than you. It is the waves which are talking about their own nama rupa, instead of seeing that we are both water and we are both one. Once we start seeing that oneness in everything, then those things automatically drop off, because now, the one I told you, who is a panditaha, who sees oneness in everything, Samadarshinaha, who is seeing oneness in everything. Now we are seeing multiplicity. We are seeing each one as different entity, and we give reality to that. Who is giving reality to Bridge? I am giving reality to Bridge. I can see you as Brahman only. I can see you as Chaitanya.
So basically everything
Because
is Brahman. There is no such thing as Jada, actually, if we think about it, meaning
why
anything that
even discuss
manifests.
that? Yeah, my point is,
Yeah.
what Bhagwan is trying to focus on is that you are worrying about things that are constantly changing. Look at the Dehi. Dehi is unchanging. Those Dehi was always there before. It will always be there after. So see the Chaitanyata of them. You are Chaitanya, see their Chaitanyata. As long as I consider myself body, I only see bodies.
So Rajinji, I follow what Deha is, but I'm not following what Dehi term is.
Dehi will get more clarity as we go, but let's just say, as we talk about, I didn't want to use the word atma because Bhagwan didn't use the word atma, but the one which is enlivening, the one real I, the one who is not Anjana, but who is experiencing Anjana through this body. See, the Anjana was a little Anju, right? Then got married to Subhash, then had kids, now has grandkids, so that Anju is same unchanging, who has gone through all these. The one who is that? You can say that is me. I am that who is seeing all the changes. That is Dehi. The real Anju is Dehi. That I, not this body. Body is experienced, right, by you. You say it is my body. Whatever you say, my body, my means it is different from I.
So when we say my, that's Deha. Right?
What you say mine is Deha, and what you say I, see, हम नहीं कहते कि I am body. I say this is my body, right? So that means I am different from this body. Even in language also we say that. So this body is different from I. Okay. Does that make sense? So I, which is real I, which is seeing all these changes, is Dehi. Just to keep it very simple. If you say who is Dehi, I am Dehi. I, not this body, but the one who is the enlivener of this body, who owns this body. Okay. So it is the changeless witness, really speaking. So it is experiencer or the changeless witness of this changing Deha. The changing body is changing. That's what Bhagwan is saying. Kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara prapti. Kya tha? The dhira tatra na bhuyati. That the dhira purusha does not get deluded. Let all the changes happen. How does it matter?
But Rajiv, the witnessing consciousness is not personal, though; it's universal. While
it is universal.
What it witnesses is personal, meaning that it's a personal experience.
It is personal. It is universal. Absolutely. But it's almost like a, that the projector has to project something. You have to have a reel, right? I'm talking about the old time projectors. That you have to have a reel that the light goes through that, and then it projects everything. So think of this mind as the reel and the screen as the jagat. So this consciousness, through its rays, it is projecting both the experiencer and experienced. Okay, both are unreal. There is only one consciousness which gives rise to a experiencer entity and a experienced entity. And that is यही चक्कर में हम फंस जाते हैं, that we can go through millions and millions of lifetime of experiences and we will never get out of it. And the reason we will never get out of it is because we are not thinking of the truth. We are only thinking of that who is this experiencer? We have to actually step behind the experiencer also.
And it's only from that profound experience of oneness that true compassion can arise. Once you see you're actually the same, the oceanness of everything, then you're not even doing any favor to anyone by being generous or kind or anything. It's just you everywhere, you know.
Every experience, you know, that is why the dhira doesn't get deluded, because he is now focused on the chaitanyata. It is focused on the consciousness, not on the changing. Consciousness is unchanging, you know, according to, you know, the Vedantic consciousness. Now there are other people who have defined consciousness different ways, but let's not worry about that right now. So that's
Thank you, Rajiv.
Does it all make sense? Okay.
Sort of sinking it.
You know what? This topic is going to continue for a while. So don't worry. इसमें नहीं समझ आया, अगले श्लोक में समझ आएगा उसके अगले. And we will spend as much time to get this क्या बोलते हैं, grilled in our head. You know, we don't want to go confused about it. See, that is why this Bhagavad Gita is so beautiful, because it is for us. This is meant for not the ones who are seekers. It is meant for the ones who are totally confused, who are crying over things that we should not cry over, you know. So
I have a clarifying question.
Sure,
Maybe
sure.
You may answer that in the future lectures.
No.
So I'm going to build on Bridge's comment earlier on, where you made a comment. Bridge, for you, does it really matter what you were in the previous life? So now if I think it from the big I, yes, it does not make a difference because the I has not changed. But as far as Raj is concerned, yes, it does make a difference who I am, previous life, because the whole Vedanta also talks about based on your karmas and the vasanas that you left behind, you come back in the next birth with a different zip code. So I'm blessed. I came in a good family. I've done well. I could have been born in a different zip code with all kind of poverty, all kind of handicaps, all kinds of things. So in that context, it does make a difference what I did in my previous karma. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct from the transactional point of view. From the Deha point of view, yes, it is correct. But what Bhagwan is saying is that if you want to cry, stick to the Deha. If you don't want to cry, then stick to Dehi. The one, he says that Dehi is not changing. Dehi is going to stay the same no matter what games we are playing. Ultimately, it is not having any impact at all, you know.
But if I went on the same question, like Arjuna's question, guys, if I'm going to kill people, I'm doing, in his mind, he's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So that means his next birth, the Arjuna, not the capital I, but the Arjuna is going to suffer.
Yes.
Because he did bad things in this life.
True. But the point is, he is also not understanding that the bad things he is doing in this life is not really bad things. He's doing, see, he forgot what is his duty, what is his dharma. So his problem is dharma related, and Bhagwan is answering from the beyond dharma. He's taking him to a very different plane altogether. And Bhagwan wanted to remove his dukkha. He says the only way I can remove his dukkha if I tell him his true identity, and their true identity is one and the same, which is atma, which is dehi, which is unchanging, no matter what, no matter in this life or past life or future lives. So there was not a time when they were not there, I was not there, you were not there, or they were not there. And same thing in the future, there will be no time. So that means he is actually trying to take him to a point where he can see them timeless entities. You can come and play. It's like a video game. You come, play the video game. Many times people die and then you reset. Its game starts again. But the point is, the focus is not on the game. Focus is on the gamer. Gamer doesn't change. Right? I'm giving a video game example, but that's the point, So
like
he's
Rajiv,
taking us from the Arjun was stuck in the anatma vichar. Anatma vichar, and Bhagwan is bringing his focus to atma vichar. That's where we are at this time.
Now, Rajiv, this verse that you just read, ki, there was not a time when we were not there, there will not be time, that particular verse. Now, in general, rebirth happens when there's still an identification with Naam Rupa. Na? Matlab, Sukh Sharir mein thoda sa identification, right? That's why rebirth happens.
Yeah.
So, is Bhagwan saying that, yes, rebirth may keep on happening, but your true nature was never not present, is not, basically the true nature doesn't change. But even if, because I was thinking, jab moksha prapt ho jata hai, that means rebirth doesn't happen, na? That's like one sense of what.
No, that's not the point. The person who thinks he is having rebirth is dead. See, understand, it is not that bridge will not be born again. The bridgeness is gone. So the past is gone, future is gone. He alone identifies as atma only, as consciousness. It is not like the bridge will be born. So this is what the, what do you call it? The gyaan is. This is where
if you become a
we are
jivan
so stuck with this name and form of bridge that we think bridge was something, bridge is something, and bridge will be something, Oh, bridge is continuous, but it will be something, something, something. Bhagwan is saying the bridgeness has gone. That moksha means that idea that bridge existed is gone. That only Atma was there before, Atma is there forever, eternal. So
okay,
it is not like it will not be born again. It never was. That whole thing was an illusion. Whole thing was an idea that was spurred as by the mind only. Anyway, I'm going too deep into this, but
Deepak has a question.
We'll talk about it one day.
I just wanted to make one comment from the physics perspective. So in classical physics and also in our current universal physics that we study in schools, there is the concept of the observer. And the ground rule is that observer cannot be part of any reaction. Otherwise, you will not see the true thing. So basically, but our problem is we are an observer, but we try to be part of the action, and that distorts our observed paradigm, and we become an actor in the spot. That's a problem.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, but here we are also not the observer. The whole idea, the moksha, according to Vedanta, I don't know about any other, so according to Vedanta, moksha does mean that your idea of an individual is gone. You realize your own true nature as Brahman, as Atma. And any idea that you had that you were something and you are something and you will be something is totally gone. So when we say that you will not be born again, is just to give you comfort, so that we are talking in the language that you understand.
Okay, but does it mean
Vedanta
once you're a
teaches you
Jivan
in a
Mukta?
language that you understand. So we say, okay, you know what? दुख मिल रहे हैं ना तुम्हें इस जन्म में, अगले जन्म नहीं होगा उसमें, no more dukha. You are done. Your role is finished. You are now one with Atma. No, you are always one with Atma. It is just the mind playing these fancy shenanigans, roles to get you sucked into this idea that I am bridge.
Yeah,
that
but
I
let
am
me ask the
Rajiv.
question in a different way, Rajiv. If you're a Jivan Mukta, you realize your Brahma nature and the Brahma nature and the ocean-like nature. Does that purify Sanchit Karma also? इस life में तो प्रारब्ध जो हो रहा है हो ही रहा है.
The karma is itself is born out of ignorance. So when you realize your own true nature, then you are just not involved in this any karma, period.
Not getting fresh karma, but the previous one, is it purified or does it still continue?
The karma is part of your own this jagat only, right? The karma is nothing but we can say this is just the building block of this jagat, right? Now when the jagat is gone, then what is building block mean anything? You probably read in Tattva Bodh, right? Sanchit karma and all these things. They are there to explain you things in the language that we understand today.
At the relative level.
But when you really go into deep Vedanta, you read, Shankaracharya or any other, then you will realize that all these things also belong to the drashya only. Karma belongs to drashya. Karma is part of drashya only, or whatever is seen. Karma has nothing to do. So Sanchit karma or jo bhi hai, they all belong to this jagat only.
Okay.
Right?
It may have some kind of continuation, but as a drishta, you're not particularly connected.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to you. Yeah. See, kaun si picture dekh rahe hain hum, does it matter? It doesn't matter. You just enjoy the movie, whatever.
Right.
But we are so stuck with, this is my movie,
Right. Triveni ji has a question. Yeah. So thank you.
Sorry.
Is it, it kind of brings to my mind one of the shlokas that we would chant before eating, where Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi. And in relation to that, you are the Anna, you're also the ladle, you're also the fire. The whole distinction between you and everything else is gone.
Yeah.
Everything is you, including the Anna or karma or whatever. Would that be the kind of level that?
Then you are just seeing Brahman in everything, जैसे तुलसीदास जी भी कहते हैं ना, सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी, करो प्रणाम जोर जुग बानी. He is seeing only Siya Ram in everything and everyone. He is not seeing any differentiations. So
that resolves the Jad and
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam. Everything is Brahman only.
So that goes beyond the duality of Chaitanya and Jad and things like that.
Exactly. So maybe we'll end here. We'll continue next Tuesday. A lot to think about now. We only covered 3 barely,
But if we understand these 3, we're done, right?
I know. Actually, if we understand this part of it, we don't have to go any further. If Arjuna had understood, Bhagwan would have said, okay, now fight. But you know what? This is the most interesting part. Up to, I would say, 1920, we'll see that. And then Bhagwan again takes him to karma portion, So we'll go through all that. It's a wonderful, scenic drive that we are going through. So please enjoy with me.
Thank you, Rajesh.
All right. But you know what? I would suggest if we read a little ahead of time also, then you'll be more prepared with questions and all that. So next time, probably we'll cover 14, 15, 16, at least 3, if not more. All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om.